Hey guys, welcome. For today's practice, we're going to work a little bit with repetition. I think we tend to fall into one of two camps. Like either we love a lot of routine, repetition, things that stay the same, or we are always craving something new and different. I actually think a little bit of both is good. Like it's good for our minds, our nervous systems to have some routine, some things that are the same. It's also really good for our bodies to change things up, work everything in different planes and different ranges of motion. But when we do it within our practice, I think it's really helpful to see the change, the shifts within a practice, but then also to see those shifts over time, right? Really, it's the same grouping of poses that we're doing over and over again, just mixing and matching them in different ways. So as we work through some of the repetition today, just notice what shifts throughout the practice, what might feel a little stiff or different to start with, might feel better as you go. So, if you have a couple blocks, you're going to want to have those, and we'll start standing up at the front of our mats today. You can begin with big toes together or feet hip width apart, whatever feels better in your body. And turn your palms forward, close your eyes, but take your gaze forward so your chin isn't all the way down or all the way up. And then just begin to bring some strength to your legs. Draw your legs in towards center and just find a little lift through your belly for support. Right? Not so much that it flattens your back, but just so that you feel strong. Open your chest, drop your shoulders down, and then just begin to move into your breath. And bring awareness there and let it slowly start to get a little bit fuller, a little deeper. When we do things on repetition like this, breath awareness at the beginning of practice, the hope is that the muscle memory starts to build and develop, and that we can drop into that place, whether it's with our breath or our bodies or our mindset, a little easier, a little quicker over time, especially on the days that maybe we need it the most. It's an easier place to find. Give yourself just a couple more breaths there. And begin to lead with your breath. As you inhale, circle your arms around, sweep both arms up. With your exhale, fold forward, keep your spine long, bend knees if that's the right place to be this morning or this afternoon, wherever you're at. Lift halfway, take a breath in, and exhale, fold. And just use these to link breath and movement. Inhale, come all the way up, big circle around with your arms. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Good. Repetition. Reach up, inhale right off the bat. Exhale, fold. Long spine, hinge at your hips, heart open. Anchor through your feet. Inhale, lift halfway. Hands to mat or shins or even blocks. Exhale, fold. Lead with your breath. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Good. Just follow your breath rhythm. If it's different from my cues, listen to yours. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Tone your belly, open up through your chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. You can even keep eyes soft or closed. Just really start to drop into breath and body. Exhale, hands to heart. Sweep up, inhale. Long spine, fold forward, exhale. Maybe each one ekes out just a little more length, a little more depth. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. I know for me, forward folds at the beginning of practice can be challenging. Reach up, inhale. Hands to heart, exhale. Reach up, fold forward. Lift halfway, get long out through the top of your head. Exhale, fold. This time, plant your hands, step your left foot back. You're in low lunge. You can always use blocks here for a little bit more height. And strengthen through your inner legs. And keep your left hand down, mat or to block. Inhale, reach your right arm up, twist. And just be mindful of where your right hip goes. Sometimes it wants to come way out to the side. Give a little hug. Wrap of your right sitting bone in and under. Make your back legs strong and then open up wide through your arms through your fingertips. You can always bring the back knee down too. It's a really nice variation if that's where it feels like your body's at today. And then exhale, right hand down, both hands to your mat, step back plank. Knees up or knees down in plank, but strengthen through your hands. So spread out wide through your fingers, press down through your fingertips. Then roll the eyes of your elbows forward, wrap your triceps back. Feel what that does for your shoulders. One more breath in. And then exhale, hips up and back, down dog. And take 2 full breaths. Maybe knees are bent, heels might be lifted, but keep the stability through your upper body and lengthen your hips back behind you. Create a little space in your spine. Inhale, reach your left leg up. Exhale, step through. And then the same, you can do back knee up, back knee down. This time, keep your right hand down. Lift your left arm up to twist. And find a little engagement through your inner legs. Squeeze them in. Wrap your left hip under. So think sitting bone in towards the midline. And then reach all the way out through fingertips. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, step all the way forward. Lift halfway, take a breath in. Exhale, fold. Root through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Can you get a little taller each time you come all the way up? Reach up, inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Lift halfway, take a breath in. Exhale, fold. Good, strong legs. Come all the way up. Get tall, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Reach up, inhale. Let the repetition just settle mind. Use familiarity with body. Half lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. Step your right foot back. And take your left foot out a little wider for stability. Inhale, come all the way up, crescent lunge this time. Right, so same position through the legs, just shift through upper body. Squeeze front heel towards back toes. Roll your right inner thigh up towards the ceiling. And find a little lift through your belly for support. And then take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, side bend to your left. And keep your upper arms strong up by your ears. And nudge your left shoulder forward just a little bit until it feels like shoulders are square. And from that strength of your legs, float up through your upper body. Bring your upper arms back a little bit. And just be mindful that your chin's not in your chest. Take your gaze forward. Back to center, inhale. Hands down, exhale. Step back, plank. And do that same strong through your hands. And this time even really zip through your low belly and cinch your outer waist in. Keep the top of your head stretching forward. I think repetition in plank definitely builds results over time. Simple, effective. Okay, hips up and back, down dog. And take a round of breath. Right leg up, inhale. Step through, exhale. Right, take feet wide enough that it feels stable or wide enough side to side. And then inhale, come all the way up, crescent lunge. Settle down into your front knee. Just be sure it doesn't come forward of the ankle, that it's over or even a little bit behind. Right, back knee can be bent a little bit if that eases any strain on low back. Just keep the legs strong, stable, and then squeeze in with your inner legs. This time, take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Reach up as you inhale. And then side bend to your right as you exhale. Okay, and you might even feel her right shoulder starts to drop back. Let's nudge it forward. Keep your upper arms strong, hug them in. And then if it feels like there's room for it, if it's right in your body, take your arms back a little. Lift your chest up. Take your gaze forward. And come back to center. Inhale, release your hands. Both hands down to the mat. Exhale, step all the way forward. Lift halfway, take a breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. And if you have your blocks, just have them up by the front of your mat. It's just where you're going to, likely where you're going to need them, if you need them. Feet together or feet hip width apart. Arms up, inhale. Bend your knees, sit back, chair pose, exhale. You can keep arms up. You can bring hands to heart. Sometimes for low back, one just feels way better than the other. And then keep that strength through your inner leg. And feel where the curve of your low back is here. You want to find a place where there's still a little bit of that natural curve, but the belly also feels supported. So it's not flat back and it's not way big back bend. It's going to feel and look a little bit different for everybody. And then press down into your heels. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Does each one feel a little different? Lift halfway, inhale. Fold, exhale, step your right foot back. Inhale, bring both arms up, crescent lunge. Exhale, settle down into the bend of your front knee. As you inhale, reach up through your fingertips. This time on your exhale, turn and plant your back heel. Open up warrior two. And you may need to change the length of the stance front to back. It needs to be a little bit wider. Or line up so you're in that heel to heel or heel to center of your arch alignment, front to back. And then inhale, flip your front palm. Exhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior. So right hand down your thigh, or you can wrap it all the way around. And stay low enough into your front knee. And then reach up and back with your top arm. Create a little side body length there. And just take a couple full breaths into that space, all along from armpit to hip. And start to lengthen out a little more there. And next, inhale, come forward, straighten your front leg. And then exhale, reach forward. So use that side body length. And then come down, triangle pose. It's a great place for a block if you want that. Right. If your hand comfortably reaches the mat and your chest stays open, great. Your chest starts to collapse, give yourself a little height. Props are lovely. Sometimes we just need longer arms. And then press down into your feet, roll your chest open, and keep your left side body long. So again, it feels like you can lengthen from hip to armpit. Bring your top hand to your hip, look down, and then bring your left hand forward, step your back foot in, and so your hand's underneath your shoulder, and then float your right leg up, half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Roll your outer right hip open. Anchor down through the inner edge of your bottom foot. And then flex your top foot, the floating leg. You can keep your hand to your hip or reach your top arm up. Sometimes one just works better for stability. And keep that inner leg strength here. Don't let them move, but feel like you could draw your legs towards one another. And from that stability into center, reach out and expand. Okay, we're going to make the transition. So squeeze your outer hips in. Feel like you stabilize the pelvis a little bit more there. Keep your right leg lifted, but turn your outer right hip down, standing splits. Bring both hands down to your mat or maybe even to blocks. Keep your right foot flexed. roll your inner right thigh up and tone through your belly. For this first time, stay long out through the top of your head instead of just working the hands back. And one more breath in. And then exhale, both feet down, fold all the way forward. And then lift halfway, inhale. Think about a longer spine, each half lift. All right, that's the point of this, from crown to tailbone, lengthen out through the spine. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And get a little taller. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath. Right, sometimes it's big changes. Sometimes it's really little shifts, pose to pose, practice to practice. And just bring attention to where that happens. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, bend your knees, sit back, chair. And this time, go ahead, take your hands to your hips and just see if you can feel where the tilt of your pelvis is, right? And exaggerate it, but sometimes we can tilt a ton of back bend, or sometimes the back gets flat. You want to find that place in between where there's a little natural curve to your low back. Then you can tone and lift your belly to support that natural curve. Then inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, take a breath in. Exhale, fold, step your left foot back. And then root through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up, crescent lunge. And settle down into the bend of your knee. Lift up through your arms as you inhale. And then turn and plant your back heel. Come open warrior 2, second side. Adjust the stance if that feels like needs a little bit of fine tuning. And just be mindful of knee, that it's over or behind your front ankle. Then turn your front palm up, take a breath in. Exhale, reverse, reach up and back. And then left hand down your back leg or reach around. Squeeze your heels in. And as you stay down into the bend of your front knee, reach your top arm up and back. And come back through center. Inhale, straighten your front leg. And then exhale, use that side body length again, reach forward and come down. And if you don't have a block, hand to shin is a really nice way to support triangle pose. Hug your legs in, root your feet down, roll your chest open. Right, here's a pose that we do over and over and over again. With those little shifts and changes over time, sometimes it feels like things just click into place. Bring your top hand to your hip, look down. You're going to walk your right hand forward, float your left leg up, half moon pose. Just roll your top hip open, flex the floating foot, and then really anchor down from your right hip to your right foot. You can keep hand to hip or reach your top arm up, the place that helps most with balance. You can always say, Amy, I'm going to go back to triangle pose. That feels like a good place today. And sometimes just a little more stabilization through the right leg can help if you squeeze your kneecap up towards your thigh to turn the quads on to bring a little bit more support there. Okay, and then squeeze outer hips in, hug into the pelvis. Keep your top leg lifted. Just roll the outer hip down. Bring both hands down to your mat or to blocks, standing splits. And if you look back at your left toes, that's going to tell you what the hip's doing. So if the toes are turned out, the hips turned up. You turn all your toes down, you might feel the outer hip start to drop down and level out through the pelvis. Stay rooted through your standing foot, lifted through your belly, and long through your spine. Take a breath in, and then exhale, both feet down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back plank. Root down through fingertips. And just roll the eyes of your elbows forward, wrap your triceps back. Just feel if that helps to set your shoulders a little more firmly. Keep the tone through your belly. Inhale there. And this time, exhale either with bent knees or straight legs. Lower all the way down. Point your elbows straight back. Okay. And then once you're down, reach your arms out in front. And just like you're reaching forward. And then turn your thumbs up towards the ceiling so your palms face in towards one another. And that lift through your belly for support. And press down through the tops of your feet. And with your inhale, lift up through right arm, left leg. You have to think about that to coordinate sides. Exhale, lower down. Left arm, right leg, inhale. Exhale, lower. Side to side, your rhythm. Right arm, left leg, or whichever side you end up starting with. Left arm, right leg. Good. And then next time on your inhale, both arms, both legs lift up. Keep the back of your neck long so you're looking down at your mat and not just throwing your head back. Lower all the way down. Hands by your sides. Stretch back, child's pose. Take a few breaths. Let your hips settle back to your heels. And just let your breath slow down. If it feels like it was starting to get a little shallow or a little faster. And then press into your hands, lift your hips up and back, down dog. Inhale to your toes, bend your knees, look forward, walk, step, or float front of your mat. Lift halfway, inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Let a forward fold feel now after many. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Reach up, inhale. Bend your knees, sit back, chair pose. Repetition on the exhale. Hands up or hands to prayer. Or always hands to hip. Maybe each one you get just a little bit more bend in the knees. Maybe you just find a little more stability. You start to feel where that sweet spot is for you with where the pelvis sits. Good. Inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Knees might still be bent, that's fine. Trust that each one shifts just a little bit. Lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot back. Take your left foot out an inch or two wider. Inhale, come all the way up, crescent lunge. It's third time around, fourth time around. Inner leg strong. Bend into your front knee. And keep your right inner thigh rolling up towards the ceiling. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, sweep your arms back, turn your palms forward. Shift your weight to your left foot. And then bring your right leg up, warrior three. And if you decide that hands down to the mat or blocks, like where we were in standing splits before, is a good choice, go there. Right, but just like standing splits, flex your foot. Roll your right inner thigh up towards the ceiling to level out through your pelvis. Lift your belly up, hug your shoulder blades onto your back. And stay rooted through your left foot. Next, inhale, stand all the way up, both feet down. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Take a breath between sides. And sweep up, inhale. Bend your knees, sit back, chair pose, exhale. Your body's starting to groan a little at exhale. At chair pose, mine might be too. Weight through your heels. And that right angle, tilt of your pelvis, and stay lifted through your chest. Just like plank, simple and effective. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold, exhale. What feels maybe a little different each time? Step your left foot back and take a wide enough stance for balance. Inhale, come all the way up, crescent lunge. Exhale, keep the bend in your front knee. Roll your left inner thigh up and find some tone through your belly for support. And from that, strengthen your arms, reach all the way up, inhale. Sweep your arms back, exhale. And so even here, if you turn your palms forward and hug your shoulder blades back, going to help your chest stay lifted as we make the transition. Weight to your right foot, slide forward, and then float your left leg up. Sometimes it helps to feel where your hips are in space. Like I can feel that my left hip is higher. And roll the left inner thigh up, flex foot, and lift low belly and low ribs in to support the front body. And stay rooted down from your right hip to your right foot. And don't forget to breathe. Next, inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Take a breath. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Lift halfway, take a breath in. And we'll add on this time from here. Bring your left hand to the front center of your mat or to a block for a little bit more height. Right hand to your hip. And as you press into your feet, get all that length all the way out through the crown of your head. And then rotate to your right. You can keep your hand there or reach your arm up. Hug your inner legs in. And then roll your left ribs down and your right ribs up to twist. Maybe the length in the spine helps to make more room for the twist, as well as the space along the hamstrings from a few forward folds. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, fold. Lift halfway again, and then this time right hand to your block or to your mat, left hand to your hip. Hug your legs in, press your feet down, and lengthen out through the top of your head. And then twist to your left. Keep hand to hip, or reach your top arm up. And even still here, if knees have a little bend or a big bend, great. Trust that the repetition still creates results over time. So a little roll of your right ribs down, left ribs up to twist. Unwind, inhale, fold, exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank. This time just one inhale and plank, and exhale, come all the way down. And just like we did before, stretch your arms out in front. Turn your thumbs up and your palms to face in towards one another. Anchor down through the tops of your feet and lift your belly. Inhale, lift up through right arm, left leg. And exhale, lower down. Left arm, right leg, inhale. Exhale, lower. And this time, both arms, both legs. Inhale, lift up. Stay. Hug your inner legs towards one another. Don't let them move, just squeeze in. And then press your hands in towards center. Feels like you're pressing a block in between your hands. Lower all the way down. Hands by your ribs. Stretch back, child's pose. Take 3 full breaths. And then walk your hands forward, stretch up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift to your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look at your hands, and then walk, step, or hop front of your mat. Lift halfway, inhale. Fold, exhale. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. Okay. Reach arms up, inhale. A little repetition with a touch of add-on. Bend your knees, sit back, chair. This time, you can keep hands to heart again, or hands up or hands to heart. Right? If you feel like you want to play with it a little, lift up onto your tiptoes. If you feel like I'm fine in regular chair, stay there. It's still effective. Inner legs in. Right? Strong with even with your inner heels towards one another to help with the balance. Right? And stay a little low in your hips and lift it through your chest. We're going to come all the way to stand. You can bring heels down or play with on tiptoes. Stand all the way up. Then exhale, heels down, fold forward. Lift halfway, take a breath in. Walk your hands forward so they're underneath your shoulders. Another great place for blocks, especially if you just want longer arms. Okay, shift your weight to your left foot and then reach your right leg up, standing splits. We rely on the repetition to get open through the back of the legs and start to find the muscle memory for where our hips feel level as we roll the inner right thigh up. And the more we do it, the more it just comes back, just like the breath at the beginning. It settles in. And then you can stay here like we were for that first variation, or start to walk your hands back. You can always bring your blocks with you. Or if you really want to play with the balance here, if this isn't enough, you can take one hand or both behind your left ankle or left calf and start to fold your upper body in towards your thigh. And breathe. Unwind your hands. Walk your hands forward. Again, you can come to your blocks if that feels good. Squeeze your outer hips in, and then start to roll your right hip open. Bring your right hand to your hip. So we're coming into half moon the opposite way this time. Same pose, different entry. Legs strong. Rooted down through your left foot, and hand to hip or reach your arm up. And use the anchor of your foot to spread out wide. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, bend your front knee. Step your right leg all the way back, warrior two. Find your stance. Inhale, turn your palm up. Exhale, reverse. Big full breath into the side body. And the next exhale, circle your hands down to your mat. Step all the way forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Take a breath. The repetition builds strength. It does. Before that, sometimes it builds a little bit of fatigue. So honor wherever your body's at. Okay, one more. Both arms up, inhale, or really just second side. And then bend your knees, sit back, chair. Right? So knowing where we're going, you have the option to stay right here or lift up to your toes. You just challenge the balance a little bit. Like your inner legs in for stability. They don't have to be touching. Just find that strength into center. High up on your toes, but low into your heels. Good. Inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Lift halfway, inhale, and then walk your hands forward again under your shoulders. You can use blocks like we've been doing. This time, shift your weight to your right foot. Put your left leg up. You might say, oh, now I know exactly where my pelvis goes. I roll my inner thigh up, make those little adjustments, flex my foot. So it just becomes muscle memory. You start to find the alignment in the pose that brings us the most support. And then you keep hands right here, or maybe walk them back. As you walk them back, your upper body's going to fold in a little, or one hand or both behind your right ankle, right calf. Sometimes just one hand feels like a good amount of challenge for balance. Hold your chest in and breathe. And unwind, walk your hands forward. And then anchor down through your right foot. Start to roll your left hip open. Bring your left hand to your left hip. It might just feel different to come in from a different entry too, as we find the alignment better one way or the other. Strong legs. Root down. And then open up, spread out wide. Take a breath in. And then exhale, bend your front knee. Step all the way back. And warrior two, find your stance. Turn your front palm up. Reach your arm up and back. Full breath into the side body. Next exhale, circle your hands all the way down to your mat. This time, step back, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Come to the back end of your mat. Bring your feet together. Inhale, lift to your toes. And then exhale, bend your knees, come down to squat with your knees together and your feet together. Okay, so like chair pose, but a little deeper. And sometimes the repetition just takes us into a slightly different shape. Okay, so you're gonna have a few options here. We always have a few options. You can keep your hands down. You can challenge the balance, bring your hands to your thighs. Find a steady gaze point for your eyes. That always helps with balance. You can stay here or bring hands together at your heart. Inhale. And if you're with me here, exhale, twist right. Left elbow across, right to your right leg. Keep hugging your legs in. And that balance on your tiptoes, just like we did in chair. And then lengthen up through your spine and twist. Come back to center with your breath, inhale. And then to your left. So right arm across to your left thigh. Squeeze legs in. Press into your feet. Lengthen out through the top of your head. Come back to center. Plant your hands. Nice work. Lift your hips. Walk forward, down dog. From down dog, right leg up, inhale. Pigeon pose, right knee behind right wrist. Exhale. Right. Figure four on your back. Always a good option if pigeon pose doesn't feel like the right place for knees, hips, ankles. Right. You can always slide support underneath your hip as well. A pillow, a block, a blanket, anything like that is helpful. And then just make sure you straighten out through your left leg so hip, knee, and ankle are in line. Bring your right hip back a little, and then let yourself fold forward. You can come to forearms. You can stack your hands, make a pillow there. Just keep a little bit of that strength and support through your legs as you let the hips start to settle. With that repetition, especially with balance, really work strengthen the outer hip, which is so good. It's a place where many of us tend to have a little bit more weakness. So much of what we do is front to back instead of side to side, where we engage the outer hip. So really good for that, but now that we've built a little heat there, you can find a little opening. And so just give yourself a few breaths. And then walk yourself back up. Press your hands down, stretch back, down dog. You can pedal one knee and then the other. And then left leg up, inhale. Left knee behind left wrist. Pigeon pose, second side. Again, figure four on your back, and things might be different side to side. So you can take one variation one side, one the other. Straighten out through your right leg. Support if you want it under your left hip. Find a little inner leg strength. Bring your outer left hip back. And then keep that as you fold forward so that there is some support for the stretch as it happens. Forearms, or stack your hands, make a pillow there for support. And just let your eyes get softer closed. Notice how body feels physically. And also just what energy feels like now. We know that yoga helps to move energy through, also to help increase energy in our body. While it doesn't feel like that immediately, right? We're helping to keep things clear, like flushing it out. And certain poses do that in certain places. So the repetition, you think of like a constant flush. And just take a couple more breaths for this side. Walk your hands back and stretch back down dog. You can pedal one knee and the other, or just move your hips a little bit side to side. And with your next exhale, bring your knees down to your mat. Come all the way down onto your back. When you get there, bend your knees. Place your feet for bridge pose. So your feet are hip width apart. I think that of like heels lining up from the center of your glutes. And then heels walking in towards your hips. Arms by your sides. And just take a breath, let the back of your head settle, shoulders drop back. And press down into your arms, your hands, and your heels. Inhale, lift your hips up, bridge pose. You can keep arms long, you can interlace them underneath you and snuggle your shoulders. And just focus on a little strength of the hamstrings here. We did a lot to open. So if you press your heels down and traction them back towards your hands, you might feel a little bit more engagement there through hamstrings. Just feel like we're knitting them back together after some good opening. And take a couple more breaths. And then release your hips down. Keep your knees bent, walk your feet out a little wider, and let your knees rest together. And just let your arms rest out by your sides. Let your lower back settle. And see if you can even out through your breath again. And one leg at a time, straighten your legs all the way out. Shavasana. If you want support under knees, or if it feels better to stay in this constructive rest pose, if that feels better for your low back, do that. Sometimes straight legs are the best for a low back. You can bring your arms out by your sides or hands to your body. And close your eyes. Release any effort with breath. And see where the muscle memory hits here, right? How fast can you drop in from the movement to the rest? So releasing the effort, softening the mind, and just allow your body to be in stillness. deeper breaths again. Your next inhale, reach your arms up overhead, lengthen out through your legs. Draw your knees towards your chest, roll to your side. Press yourself all the way back up to sitting. Bring your hands together at your heart. Allow the repetition to bring results, to create the muscle memory that we need to make progress and move forward. Thanks so much for sharing the practice. Namaste.